Good afternoon. This is the most hotly anticipated race of these UCI Cyclocross World Championships. We're getting ready for the women's elite race here in Valkenburg. This is the big end to their first day of racing. Well, the crowd is out in force now as we get ready to bring the riders to the start line. There's some British fans who've had a great day so far. 2 wins out of 2. And here's the course. 2.9 kilometres. Simon, we've already learned a lot about this course, but any differences, any changes from what we've seen so far?
No, nothing changed from the 2 races earlier today. It's still as muddy. It's not dried up at all. It's the mud's established itself now, so that's not going anywhere. And yeah, like you say, it's only 2.9k, but it's been a 10-minute plus lap in the 2 races this morning for the junior men and the under-23 women, and the 100 metres of height difference is the main contributing factor to that one. It's very, very hard, but then the mud has just slowed the whole course down. So yeah, we're looking at 10-minute laps and a very, very muddy, technical, difficult 45, 50 minutes ahead.
Well, the Belgians are waiting for their first medal. The riders are on the start line, getting themselves organised, and this is the start list of riders who will take to this Women's Elite World Championship. There are 41 riders on the start line and lots of favourites. Every time you go through it, there is about 10 or 12 riders who immediately spring to mind as possible winners. And then there's another group of about 5 or 6 who might surprise everybody and come through and take either the win or the podium. It's really, really difficult to call, and that is why everybody has been so excited about today's race. The jacket's being taken off, 3 minutes till the race starts. That's our commissaires panel down there on the left-hand side, who will make sure that fair racing happens. First rider we see is Helen Wyman, 6 wins in the 2017-18 season. The British champion, the new British champion. Christine Majerus just behind. She could be a big surprise. Marianne Vos just behind, 7 times world champion. The next rider, Maud Kapteins, who this year has won a round of the World Cup. Caitlin Keogh, who finished 2nd in the World Cup overall, a very consistent 2017-2018 season. Defending her title, Sanne Cant of Belgium, last year's winner. Over 100 wins in her career. Eva Lechner, we bring her to the start line, a 32-year-old Italian rider, 9 times a national champion of cyclocross, and could do very well on this course. Katie Compton, over 125 career wins, the American champion. Ellen Van Looy, could suit her this course today with the amount of running. And Nikki Bramier, very focused from her. She lost her British title, but she has been on the podium of a World Cup this season. The start is all important. Sanne Cant, focused as always, knows that she needs to get a good start here. Eva Lechner alongside, just total race face on now. And they're underway as they go bursting away from the start. Who is going to get the best start through that first corner? And Eva Lechner is absolutely flying. She has got a very, very good start. Eva Lechner's going to go onto that drop-off first and take the right-hander in the lead. And Christine Majerus got a stunning start from the second row. Eva Lechner leads down this drop-off.
Yeah, all safely down that one. That was always been my concern for this race. This start is such a short start, and that drop is almost vertical. But all the favourites for sure down that in one piece. That's good to see.
So it's Eva Lechner, Christine Majerus, Ellen Van Looy, Maud Kaptein, Sanne Cant. Behind Sanne Cant, Caitlin Keogh, I think. Just waiting for her to come out. No, Ellen Noble. Great start by Ellen Noble as she goes.
Oh, sorry, Elle Anderson. That was?
No, Ellen Anderson. That's a fantastic start by Elle Anderson to get through to the front and be immediately into the top few riders overall, right on the wheel of Sanne Cant and looking very, very good. On the wheel of Elle Anderson is Lucinda Brand, the Dutch champion. And also a very good start near the front. Ellen Van Looy always gets a good start, but on this course, this could really help her. Christine Majerus absolutely flying at the front. Nikki Bramier, a good start by her, and Magali Rochette of Canada also up near the front.
Helen Wyman, not a good start. She's dropped back from a front row to a probably mid-teens, looking like there. And I think the one that I haven't spotted yet is Katie Compton. And I think we're going to find out pretty quickly if she's on the kind of form that sees her winning races like, no, not like this, but World Cup races by a good margin. But there she is at the bottom of our picture.
Big sprint by Katie Compton.
I think if Compton's in form, she's going to be difficult to beat for sure. I think she's had a resurgence this year in her fortunes. You know, she's been dogged by bad luck, bad health. But when she puts it together, she is one of the ones that will be very, very difficult to beat on a course like this.
So it's Eva Lechner who's at the front from Bolzano in Italy. Christine Majerus in second. I noted Christine Majerus down as a rider who might surprise every rider in this field, purely by the fact that, Simon, you've been telling us through the first two races how much power is required on this course. It's so sticky, the mud. She is a tough rider as a domestique on the Boels Dolmans team. She's very good on the road, and I just think that she might have some very good power to get herself through this course today, and already she's up at the front.
Yeah, well, she's obviously started well for us, so we'll see how that plays out. But I think, yeah, it's good to see a bit further down the field. We've got Pauline Ferrand-Prévot there, about the same place as Katie Compton. Compton in the pits for a bike. Ferrand-Prévot deciding not to. Oh, Lechner under the barriers.
Whoops, Eva Lechner goes underneath the
Actually, this is a good shot. We haven't had this shot before in the earlier races. It's a nice one to see, and I think it does help to show the steepness of the camber on that hillside, to see what they're riding across and why these ruts are forming and why they're becoming such a crucial part of it. And then we've got riders with no feet in pedals. It starts to become a little bit sketchy, and just you can see how deep that rut is. Sanne Cant's back wheel in there. Magali Rochette, a really good start from her as well.
Yeah,
she surprised us last year in Luxembourg.
She did.
And I think, again, the conditions like this will be suiting her.
Helen Wyman's not had a great start to this race. Marianne Vos is starting to work her way through. Here's Eva Lechner, look at that.
Just almost high-sided it, but kept it upright. It's a long way to fall down. If you fall to the right there, that's a long way down. So, yeah, she kept it upright, but...
yeah, not too bad. It could have been a lot worse if she'd hit that pole. So Christine Majerus of Luxembourg is the leader of this race, with around about 2 seconds on Ellen Van Looy, then Eva Lechner, then Sanne Cant, ominously placed. Oops, Christine Majerus gets a little bit stuck around that pole. And a little bit further back, Sanne Cant already into third place on this course. That is a little bit ominous for anyone else behind her.
It is, and this first selection, it's Cant that's come out of it the best out of the handful of favourites that we've talked about. I wouldn't expect to see Van Looy stay necessarily in second place. She tends to start very fast, and she's been fading towards the end of races. But Cant's in the place where I'm sure she wanted to be at this time of the race. But again, coming from behind, we've got the strong riders like Ferrand-Prévot, like Vos, that have had third row, fourth row starts, and Compton, again, second row start, but it'd be interesting to see where she ends up when we get some split times and we can actually see the running order that we're maybe not seeing right now on the picture, because there's some very strong women a little bit further behind that are going to definitely have an influence on this race in the next 40 minutes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. If you want to ask us any questions at UCI_CX, if you can join myself, Anthony, and Simon Burney. As we see the front riders right now: Christine Majerus, Luxembourg; Ellen van Looy, Belgium; Sanne Cant of Belgium; Eva Lechner of Italy; then Magali Rochette of Canada, followed by Katarina Nash, who is making her way through the field for the Czech Republic. Katie Compton's up there, so is Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She's now into the top 8, and Marianne Vos is working her way through as well. I spoke to Marianne before the start. She said this is the hardest course of the season. It's a lot harder than Namur and all the other courses. And Pauline Ferrand-Prévot is the rider who has started on the back row of the grid in the World Cup, started third row here. She made her way onto the podium of the World Cup last week and crashed then in the last World Cup. But Ferrand-Prévot is a big, big danger to anybody's hopes of winning the world title, including Sanne Cant, because if she gets to the front of this race, then Pauline Ferrand-Prévot is a hot, hot favourite to win. World champion in 2015, and slowly but surely she is finding her way through this field.
And that group that Ferrand-Prévot and Vos are in are around about the 16-17 second deficit right now, which is, on the course like this, conditions like this, not a huge gap right now. So there's, it looks like they're big gaps, but they're in contact, really.
Yeah. Well, Sanne Cant's having to run this entire section. Gets back onto the bike. There is that group of riders just in camera shot in the background. So many riders still in with a chance of winning this race. But Ellen van Looy and Sanne Cant now working their way back up towards the wheel of Christine Majerus. Ellen van Looy always gets good starts. Still works in an old people's home where she looks after everyone there. Still manages to balance her training with working there as well. But that's a nice shot, so we get an idea of where Christine Majerus is. Multiple Luxembourg champion at all disciplines. But right now, she's not even looking back. She knows that everyone is chasing her down. Sanne Cant looks really, really strong on the run as she catches Majerus.
She does. She's reminiscent of the Evie Richards running ability. You know, there's a big difference in the women that can run and the women that can't. And yeah, she's one that definitely can, and it makes a big difference on a course like this. And it's difficult, you know, if you're coming into a season not necessarily doing the massive races that someone like Sanne Cant and Ellen van Looy do, then it's hard to fit running into the preparation for a season. So if you do the kind of the 6-race season like someone like Ferrand-Prévot might do, like we see Marianne Vos do, it's difficult to get that level of running kind of refined that you don't see because you're not racing week in, week out and running week in, week out. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out the next couple of laps, I think.
Yeah, right now, Sanne Cant, the defending champion, is at the front of the race. So far this season, she won in Hoogerheide, she won in Zolder, she won Zeven, she won Bogensee, she won Waterloo in terms of the World Cups. Some people would have said she hasn't had the best season, but you can look back through that and she's been flying all year. She's had her ups and downs. She's had moments where things just haven't gone right, but overall she has been the absolute dominant force in the World Cups. And today she is going out and taking this race to everybody else. Ellen van Looy dropping away, as you said, Simon, as we see Lucinda Brand coming into the pits. Her brother throwing her onto the bike. We had dinner with her brother last night. He's prepared her bikes specially for this race, looking after her and making sure that she got her bikes exactly how she wanted them. He spent the entire week getting them right. Sana Kant now has a lead on the rest of this field. And Christine Majerus unable to go with the acceleration, but ominously, Katie Compton forcefully working her way up that rise and full of running.
Yeah, and I think if Compton makes that bridge with Kant, then it's going to be very difficult to beat Compton. I think Kant, it's interesting for me, especially in the women's races, that we see a rider like Kant or a rider like Ellen Van Looy. This is Beth Compton, bike cam.
With a little bit of mud on it.
Yeah, how we see a rider like Kant or Van Looy that do 35 to 40 races in a season. At the climax of the season at the World Championships, they're up against the riders like the Ferrand-Prévôts, the Vosses, that literally do a 6-race season, come in late, finish a road season, finish a mountain bike season, don't bother with the other series in Belgium, come in, race over Christmas and January, and that's pretty much it. And it all, the different strategies, approaches, how you come into the biggest race of the season, it's a fascinating one for me. And it's, you know, it's definitely caused some comment from different riders as well. I know Kant wasn't happy when Ferrand-Prévôts beat her in Tabor a few years ago because she said, hey, I support this sport the whole year and you show up
and then just beat me
2 weeks ago and beat me, and you got the jersey for the following year and maybe you're not going to race in it. And it is a shame to not see the rainbow jersey out there, but each rider can prepare and decide how they plan their seasons. But again, like you said, Kant has had, for me, a great season. As a world champion, it's been a very, very deserving season for a world champion.
Yeah.
And she's obviously come into this, having done 35, 38 races, still in the shape to be able to put the hurt on the rest of the field. And I think now it's going to be for me, it's going to be a Compton battle, this one.
Sana Kant, the first lap, 12 minutes and 5 seconds. She's in the lead by 12 seconds from Katie Compton. Now she's got daylight, she can just concentrate on riding her own race. Behind, perhaps this race is a bit more spread than we thought it would be. Katarina Nash and Lucinda Brand together, who are about, 29 seconds behind. Then Eva Lechner, who's the early leader. But Katarina Nash making her move now to try and get herself back up to the front of the race. The mountain biking in her and her cross-country skiing ability, just technically unafraid on the descents, very, very fast across the surface. And Katarina Nash is now moving her way through the field into 5th place. Lucinda Brand in 6th. And Sana just trying to find the power on the flat bits to open up a little bit more of a lead. Compton 12 seconds down right now. Is this the day that Katie Compton's been dreaming about? She says she took the pressure off herself. Everyone else talks about her winning the world title. She hasn't been able to do it so far. Twice silver, 1 times bronze medal, World Cup winner. But this year she's won the DVV trophy and she won in Nome. She seems to have really... I remember seeing a tweet from her this year. She said she's learned to ride her bike at 39 years of age.
I think she's always known how to ride a bike. I think what she's struggled with is her health and how she's managed her health. And she's had health issues in the past, and then she's overcome them. She had a leg pain problem that caused her problems for years and years, and caused by travel and whatever else. And now she manages that one. And then the one that she struggles with now is a breathing thing. That's whether it's a pollen or an allergy or an asthma style of breathing difficulty, and it's just managing for her. It's just managing that in all the various conditions that you have to race cyclocross in. But again, when she's healthy and got it together, there's nobody that can beat her. She is that good. And you know, there's been years when she's dominated seasons and in theory she maybe should have been world champion, but she, like you say, she never has been. She's been runner-up, and if there's a rider that's deserving of a rainbow jersey before her career ends, it's Katie Compton for sure. Yeah.
Well, Sana Kant is the leader. Compton is only 6 seconds behind now, and Majerus is with her. There seems to be a resurgence of pace from Majerus. Katie Compton up there. Thanks for your messages at UCI_CX. The pros are all watching today. Hello to Leah Viviani, who's watching and enjoying the racing and saying this course is super hard from one of the fastest sprinters in the world on the road.
Yeah, I don't think he'd like it too much.
No, I can't imagine he would. And also, thanks for all your different questions that we've had. The Alma Grand Prix, a prediction on the number of laps, Simon. What do we think might happen here?
I think they're going to go
12 minutes.
I think they're going to go 4. I think 5's going to be too long for this one, I think.
Yeah, so we're going to see around about 48, 49 minutes, potentially.
Is that an 11-minute lap?
Yeah, no, it was 12:05 was the lap.
Well, that's significantly slower than the under-23 women then.
Yeah.
That's a minute and a half slower, so that's interesting.
12:05 is going to be the first lap. Sanne Cant, 14.39 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, we're looking at 17k an hour averages for the junior race, I remember earlier. So it is slowing down, which this mud is obviously getting a bit stickier. Tim Johnson, the great Tim Johnson, was asking me how the mud compares to Swiss mud, and Tim, you can never compare anything to Swiss mud.
Is that the ultimate mud?
That's the ultimate in mud, but Belgian, Dutch mud, where Belgian border mud comes a close second. But you can see it now. It is the way that this section's riding. You know, they're queuing up there to come out of a rut.
Yeah.
It is stickier.
Well, Lucinda Brand's making her way up through the field. There was some apparently interesting comments between her and Sanne Cant this week, because Sanne wasn't too sure Lucinda could ride this course, and I think Lucinda's going to try and prove to her that she can ride this course. And so far, she's doing it very well. 4th place overall at this moment in time for Lucinda Brand. But Sanne Cant is still at the front of the race. Tyres, they all were on similar to the juniors and the under-23s. No major differences after lunch.
No, just we talked about earlier in the day. There's Dugaster brought out a new compound for their tread just for this weekend. 5 riders using it, and in this race, Marianne Vos and Nikki Brahmaier are the 2 that are trying this one out. And I think they're both on 32mm as well, so they've gone slightly narrower than the normal 33mm tyre. Again, in mud like this, a narrower tyre is a definite advantage. The problem is that most people have gone to 33mm as a standard, so having the choice available to go narrower. But again, in the days of up to 34mm, riders, again, the Vivekans and the Sven Naces at the time, the Mario de Klerks would have 30s, 32s, 34s and make a decision on tyre width based on conditions as well. Doesn't tend to happen as much now. It tends to be more 33 as a standard and just change the tread. So, yeah, it's a super soft special compound. Evidently, they can maybe put another PSI or an extra little bit of pressure in the tyre, but still get the grip and the suppleness that you feel with a soft tyre, which again reduces the puncture risk. So, but generally, as you can see, it's a mud tyre course, and it's as lower pressure as you can get away with. But around here, 14 to 16 PSI. I think we talked about Emma White, was it, on slightly harder, 17, 18 PSI for the under-23 women's race. Just a little bit concerned about the possible puncture risk.
Some riders were trying 1 bar yesterday in their tyres, weren't they? But it was just way too low.
Yeah, I mean, one's whatever that is, 12 PSI or something. It's that is too soft. I think you probably you'd be bottoming out on the rim, and the tyre will be flicking from side to side under you. That's like riding on a punctured tyre.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all your messages. Offline has said, do you think the course is drying out? It's a little bit drier. It's getting stickier than it was first thing this morning. So it has changed a little bit. David Terry, has an American ever won the Cyclocross World Championship?
No, Jonathan.
Not.
Well, no, Jonathan Page. Jonathan Page came closest in the men's, and Katie Compton in the women's, and both of those were at Hooglader Hits in Belgium. The first time that we saw Compton on the podium, and Jonathan Page led that race for a long time until he got passed by Erwin Viveken late in the race. And that was probably the last time we saw mud like this, but it wasn't on a course with the similar height differences that we're seeing here.
Katie Compton is now 10 seconds down The American champion trying to find something to get back to the wheel of Sanne Cant. But just to run through this for you, Sanne Cant leads, Katie Compton second, Christine Majerus third, Lucinda Brand is fourth, Katarina Nash is fifth, Eva Lechner is sixth, then Nikki Brammer, then Caitlin Keogh, then Elle Anderson, then Ellen Van Looy. United States of America having a very good day with 3 riders in the top 10 places overall. And Compton is getting up to the wheel of Sanne Cant, slowly but surely. Seems to me, Simon, like she's riding a really clever race. Like she knows she's got this breathing problem that kicks in, so she's hanging back a little bit almost, and then coming back to the wheel of Sanne Cant when she feels ready to.
I think with Compton, she needs to take her time. I think she races like that. We don't often see her near the front of a race on the early lap. She comes through from, whatever, top 5, top 10, and she's quite happy doing that, and she's comfortable doing it, which a lot of riders aren't. If they're not in the top 3, they kind of feel that the race is going away from them. Compton will race her race the whole time, for the whole 50 minutes, and yeah, she'll know where she's at, but again, she's managing her situation, and I think whether it's her breathing issues that she gets, whether it's a bike, her and her husband Mark are so meticulous with their equipment preparation. Everything gets thought about with this team, and yeah, every single thing will have been checked on. So right now it's a race strategy, and she's been doing this for a long time. She knows exactly what she can do and what she can't do and how to win a bike race. So yeah, for me, she's the one to beat in this.
22 minutes, Katie Compton arrives at the front of the race. It's taken her that long to get herself through the field and to catch Sanne Cant, and now she's there. And Sanne Cant will get a little bit of a dent in her morale, knowing that Katie Compton has been able to ride across to her. Now we have a bike race at the front. What will also happen now is that they may well slow down just a little bit by the dueling that goes on, unless Katie decides to attack her straight away.
I think she'll keep the pressure on, and I think we're looking at some interesting line choices as well from Compton, just even like a couple of corners back. Again, it's just how a rider thinks about things. As you can see from barrier to barrier, there's not any green on there at all. But certain sections of the course, the mud's a little bit wetter. It's understanding that and understanding where you can ride and just find an extra, again, half a kilometre an hour, if your average speed is 13 or 14, is significant. So, again, as we've mentioned in the earlier races, there's nowhere to recover on this lap either, because the downhills, with the conditions that we've got, are as challenging as the uphills. So, very little recovery. But again, someone like Compton will be the absolute master of understanding where she can just grab a breath, where she can save a little bit of energy with a different line, with a smarter choice. And I think it'll be, the ball is now in Cant's court to try and stay with her, I think.
Katie Compton at the front of the race now, 39 years of age, World Cup winner in her career, twice a silver medalist, 1 time a bronze medalist. So many people tipped her for many, many years to be the world champion. She's never managed to do it. But today she's at the front. Behind her, Christine Majerus still holding on to 3rd place. Lucinda Brand, another specialist road rider who turned her attention to cyclocross, holding on to 4th place. Katarina Nash is not too far behind that 3rd place battle. Eva Lechner is also not that far behind. Either is Caitlin Keogh and Nikki Brammer and Elle Anderson. The other rider in the top 10 that we've not really mentioned all year is Elisabeth Brandau of Germany.
Yeah, Lizzie Brandau, again, another good mountain bike rider. Young rider, but again, these conditions, as we saw with some of the under-23 riders, suits that riding style that the mountain bikers tend to adopt. Quite happy when it's hilly, quite happy pedalling slowly.
12 minutes 15 was the second lap. 12:05 was the first lap. As we see Christine Majerus riding in now to 3rd place, 30 seconds down. Lucinda Brand hunting down 3rd place for the Netherlands. And there's been quite a lot written about the Dutch team because Normally you'd expect Marianne Vos as a 7 times world champion to be the rider everyone's talking about, but today that isn't the case. It's Lucinda Brand who's their favoured rider because of her national title. Just looking a little bit further back, Pauline Ferrand-Prévost's kind of drifted away. 17th place for her. Helen Wyman down in 20th. Beth Crumpton down in 24th for Great Britain. Magali Rochette of Canada is 19th. Marianne Vos currently down in 15th place. Now the front then, Katie Compton leading Sanne Cant. Sanne Cant, the bronze medalist in 2016, the silver medalist 2015, world champion in 2017, as we see Marianne Vos crossing the line now, and she's going to be 1 minute 40 seconds down. This is hurting a lot. Marianne did say this has got no rest as Katie Compton puts the pressure on Sanne Cant yet again. Sanne Cant had 15 wins this season and also took her Belgian title, 9 times the Belgian champion. Compton really stretching it across that run.
Yeah, I mean, Cant for me is the most comfortable runner from the two. I think Compton, if she's going to drop her, it's going to be on the bike. I think it's hard to drop Sanne Cant on a run.
Alex Hecht, are there any plank barriers on the course? No, the course is hard enough without them.
No, there aren't, no.
Nothing at all like that, just some steps. 30 of them.
The two banks coming back into pit 2 that we actually can't see them very well, but we can see the riders dismounting for. They're almost like an 80-centimetre hurdle. It's like a quite high, almost vertical little piece of grass. But interestingly enough, the Hooger Heide World Cup last year, that's been a race that's never had hurdles in it.
Yeah.
Adrie van der Pol was always one for never having them. But last weekend they had them for the first time in it. Yeah, made a couple of changes on the course, and yeah, for me it added to that course design.
Yeah. Coming out of the pits, Katie Compton on the front. Sanne Cant is going to try and attack her on the road. This is still our 3rd place rider, 32 seconds down. Not far behind is Lucinda Brand in the orange. She decides not to take a bike this time as she goes up that little rise. And Sanne Cant is attacking Katie Compton, trying to get a little bit of an advantage on the areas where she knows she's quicker. Interesting move here by the Belgian rider. As she goes clear, and Compton has a problem round that post. Suddenly Compton is under some pressure. And
that's the first time we've seen anybody run in this corner as well in any of the 3 races today so far. This is obviously drying out, getting stickier. That big rut on the right-hand side is just got too deep to be able to ride it efficiently.
Sanne Cant going away again for the 2nd time. She has got now a lead on Katie Compton. James, thanks for your message. Yeah, I think we mentioned that Pauline Ferrand-Prévot has crashed really hard last week, so suffering a little bit this week. Luckily didn't break anything, but she's pretty bruised. And Vancouver Maneuver has said, of course, Katie won 3 medals so far. Yep, 2 silvers, 1 bronze is what we've been saying. And those were between 2007 and 2013. And she hasn't been on the podium since 2013. As we see Lucinda Brand and Christine Majerus parking up over that little rise, past the Irish fans on the left-hand side of the course. Sanne, has she opened up her lead now? Let's take a little look. Compton just working her way back yet again. 24 cameras on this course, and the director says there's not enough. but they're doing a great job of covering the entire course. Imagine that is an awful lot of cameras out here to bring you this action across this entire 2.9 kilometres. Sanne riding again where Katie has had to run, and Lucinda Brand makes her way into 3rd place to the delight of the Dutch fans. The Dutch have had medals in both races so far, and Lucinda Brand is using that road power. Winner of Omloop Het Nieuwsblad and winner of Grand Prix Plouay, the Dutch cyclocross champion. And Brand is using that to very, very good effect now as she catches and passes Majerus. Compton is back now on the wheel of Sanne Cant, so we're going to have 4 laps of racing, everyone, just to confirm on the screen there down at the bottom. We're on the 3rd lap right now, and we still do not know who will be the world champion, as these 2 riders try to find a way to beat each other, as Compton uses an interesting line down at the bottom of the course.
Yeah, able to stay on the bike. Not necessarily any faster, but certainly saved a little bit of energy on the run. And this section is actually pavement that we're looking at now. There's just so much mud been taken onto it from the previous section. Had a couple of questions about what's under the mud, and only in the forest section at the start of the lap there's some roots that are becoming exposed and some rocks that are starting to appear, but it's nothing like we saw in Luxembourg last year when there was all sorts of debris and rocks and sharp granite that were poking through and pretty much giving everybody flat tyres. But here it's 90% of the course is fine, and a lot of the mud is actually going down to a hard base, so the wetter mud, it's a lot easier to ride through, but this, as we're seeing, it's drying out and becoming a lot stickier in certain sections of the course. I don't think I've seen a course where the consistency of mud has changed so much in 2.9 kilometres. It's pretty difficult to gauge what you can ride and what you can't, but obviously once you've been out on there riding a few laps, better idea. But the green sections that we saw, we talked earlier in the day about the UCI had marked off sections of the course that the riders weren't allowed to train on, just to try and preserve the surface to not end up with a big running race. On the very wet sections, which tend to be in the area around the pits, and those in the first race this morning were perfectly fine green fields, and now they're turning into a brown line of mud. But what's happened is that the green lines have still been available for a couple of races, which is good. So the under-23 men and the elite men tomorrow are going to struggle a little bit more, but as we see Compton just extending a little bit of a lead.
This is another move, so Cant has attacked her. Compton's come back, and now Katie Compton is attacking Sanne Cant.
But Cant's so strong on the runs. Look at, just closes the gap down. Able to keep that running cadence. Well, I say that, and then slides. It's 1 foot forward, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Sanne is now safely back on the bike. Let's say hello to a few people on this 3rd lap of the UCI World Cyclocross Championship for elite women, as we see Sanne Cant all over the place on that little corner. Thanks for your messages. A quick hello to one of the great cyclocross riders who rode the World Cups. Hello to Meredith Miller, and all of you who are watching with Meredith today, enjoying watching an American rider, Katie Compton, at the front of the race, and a few other bits and pieces of questions we'll pick up on in a minute. I think we've answered about how the Canadians are doing and some of the other nations, but just to run through the top 10, it's Compton, Cant, Brand, Majerus, Nash, Brandau, Marlene Petit in 7th place for France, Caitlin Keough in 8th, Eva Lechner in 9th, and Elle Anderson in 10th place now, as Sanne Cant gets another clean bike and tries to close in again on the fast-moving American champion as she goes clear. Look how muddy that is now. Splashing your way through the puddles. Compton at the front. We've been corrected and reminded that Matt Kelly won the Junior World Cyclocross Championships for America in 1999.
He did, yeah, and Tim Johnson was second in the under-23s. I think that was that year. Tim will correct me if I'm wrong.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to Chris and various other people who let us know that. Katie Compton is now starting to put Sanne Cant into some difficulty. but you cannot ever discount Sanne Cant. She will just grind her way around this course, waiting and watching and hoping that Compton makes a mistake or she blows up or anything else. 21 meters is the tiny advantage between the first two riders in this cyclocross world title as Compton hits this really strength-sapping, leg-breaking climb. Cant puts the bike on the shoulder. Compton choosing to just run up with it.
Yeah, for me, Cant is just closing gaps on the running, and Compton is a little bit stronger on the bike.
Yeah.
But that gap is...
These two are not having a good day. Of bashing each other with bikes. No holes barred at all in this race, is there? They are literally taking bits out of each other.
Oh, and it's starting to hurt Cant now, that you can tell.
Yeah. Oh, the head is all over the place. She's starting to suffer. David Terry, has there been any consideration of adding the cyclocross to the Winter Olympics? Well, you have to have an event on snow or ice, don't you, to be in the Winter Olympics?
The IOC charter states that it needs to have snow and ice to take place, and the big push is to try and get that wording changed to that it can take place on snow and ice. We can have cyclocross on in the snow. You can have cross-country running in the snow, and I think it's being led by the AAAF to try and get cross-country running in there. And I think if that happens, it's a good kick in the door for cyclocross to follow. Right now, it's I think IOC charters are quite difficult, lengthy processes to challenge. But I think every cyclocross fan out there, and I think as cyclocross develops and more nations start competing and more continents are involved, then it sends a message to the IOC that it's a global sport, it's a winter sport, and we can do it on snow and ice. We just don't need to have it. So, yeah, it's a wording change, and hopefully in the future we'll see that.
This is the battle for third place. Christine Majerus, 42 seconds down. Lucinda Brand dropping away just a little bit here, losing around about 7 seconds. But up at the front, the Belgian fans urging on Sanne Cant as she chases to try and defend her world title of last year. At the front, it is the American rider, Katie Compton, with over 125 career wins, the winner of the DVV Trophy this year, the winner of Nome, 3 times a medalist in the World Championships, never winning the world title, and Compton has had her race face on all day. Normally Katie is smiling, laughing, chatting away, waves all the time. Today, none of that. Today has been race face from the minute she got here.
And I think it's been that way all season with this in mind. I think her and Mark have known that if everything goes right, this is the year she can win a world championship on this course in these conditions. And she's shown this season, maybe slightly different to previous seasons, that she's got some of her problems under control, and I say on a day she's very, very difficult to beat. And right now Sanne Cant is the only one that is offering a challenge to her, and this last 3/4 of a lap is going to be enthralling, I think, because it's a drag race right now.
It is. It's literally flat out between these two riders. This rider in third place, so if she took this bronze medal, I don't think anyone would be... I mean, I think the whole cycling community would be pleased that Christine Majerus took a bronze medal. So often she's the domestique on the road. So often she's the rider who's riding for Anna van der Breggen and all the other riders, Lizzie Deignan. But today she is there at the front of a world championship, and there's a big chance of her taking the bronze medal here. Let's see what happens between these front two riders. Katie Compton just did a 12:23 lap as she goes into the pits. So she went 12:05, 12:15, 12:23. They are slowing down. Both riders are going to take bikes on this final lap of this World Championship. Sanne Cant is onto her bike first. Katie Compton going all the way to the end of the pits, grabs the bike for the final time. Sanne Cant comes back to her now, and this is where Sanne comes back to her every single lap and then attacks her really, really hard. Despite her suffering, yet again the Belgian rider is at the front of the race, followed by Katie Compton. All change. This could go either way.
It could right now. Yeah, both of them have got cards to play on various parts of the course, and it's definitely going to be a case of who makes the less mistakes. And again, it's not a mistake, you know, that Compton just slides and has to dismount on the wrong side and flick the bike round, and it's these 1 or 2 seconds here and there. But again, you know, we're not seeing Cant there, but we could quite easily, Cant could have just come to a stop in that rut like we've seen before. Compton chose to run it, Cant ran it the previous lap.
Cant now attacking.
We saw last year in Luxembourg how much Cant wanted that last lap in that World Championships against Vos. You know, and you know that's in there. If she's got a sniff of the win, she's not going to give it up without a fight. I think she's enjoyed being the rainbow jersey wearer this year.
This is a big fight between two big champions. Sanne Cant at the front. Katie Compton rode that entire section, but still Sanne Cant has that slender advantage. Majerus just has about 3 or 4 seconds on Lucinda Brand. Lucinda Brand searching for that bronze medal. She comes to a standstill in that rut. Who is going to take this world title? The Belgian rider at the front. We always said this was going to be a battle, and it has been a battle, and we still do not know who's going to take the gold medal. The front is Sanne Cant. Just behind is Katie Compton, who slowly but surely is working her way back to Sanne Cant. Yet again, I would say that if it comes to a sprint between these two, my money would be on Sanne Cant at that finish.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to that climb before the finish. And Cant, for me, has been the stronger runner.
Compton not giving in. Sanne Cant's back on the bike. Compton trying to remount now to get herself back to the wheel of the Belgian rider. Can she double up and take the title again? Last lap, she looked like she was suffering. She's still suffering. You can see how hard this is. All the colour is out of her face. She is pushing herself to the absolute limit. You can see she's right in the red right now. Almost at that point of collapse, I would say. She looks really, really in the red zone right now, and Compton is coming back at her again. Who is going to take this world title? Is it going to be a dream day for the American? Is Sanne Cant going to double up?
Again, Compton, she's on the lower gears, definitely using different gear ratios to Cant, able to ride that section. We saw it last lap as well, where she closed the back up, able to stay on the bike.
This is incredible between these two. Compton losing some time. Lucinda Brand catches Christine Majerus yet again. So the bronze medal tussle is neck and neck. The gold medal tussle is neck and neck. Majerus and Brand tied together. Both these riders are good sprinters on the road. Boels Dolmans against Team Sunweb. Luxembourg against the Netherlands.
And I would have never thought you would have two more of the road riders in battle for medals rather than, say, some of the mountain bikers like the Lechners or the Katharina Nashes or the Ferrand Prevosts. But I think it just adds to how good women's racing is right now, that there's such a depth of talent and such a diversity in the abilities and skills of these women, that they can come from 3 different disciplines in a World Championships. And yeah, you call yourself a road specialist or a cyclocross or a mountain biker, but they're just the top win and top 10 can do anything. They can ride a mountain bike, they can all ride a road race, they can ride cyclocross. It's just this strength in depth and ability to ride across disciplines which is so impressive.
Lucinda Brand said in a podcast this week that it's helped her on the road. She goes into the classic season with so much power, and now she is starting to get rid of Christine Majerus, who's desperately trying to hold on to win the bronze medal. Compton is fading away a little bit here. She's trying to adjust her glasses. Now things are starting to get on her nerves, which is a sign that she is absolutely fatigued. We look down now on the leading rider. Sanne Cant of Belgium is going away. 33 meters is the advantage. Onto the run-up now. Then the steps, then the ramps, into the finish for Sanne Cant. 45 minutes of grueling racing. And the world champion of last year at this moment is defending her first place. Sprinting away up that climb for the final time. Sanne Cant being urged on by this huge crowd now at the side of this track. Has Katie Compton got anything left to come back at the Belgian? It's a cliffhanger, it's been all the way. To me, Compton now is very, very fatigued. She can't see, her glasses, she should just throw away. She's got them edged on the edge of her nose. I don't know what's happening there, but Sanne Cant now is just going away.
Yeah, Cant definitely extended that lead on that big run. That run is so hard. I think right now it's looking good for Cant. And Compton just seemed to run out of steam a little bit that last half lap.
Yeah, she suddenly cracked. Sanne Cant looked like she'd cracked on lap number 3, but she wanted this so much. Into the pits. Sanne now onto the bike again. She is able to push herself so hard. I don't think I've seen Sanne Cant ever push herself this hard in a race. Wearing number 1 as the defending champion. Katie Compton heading towards the end of the pits. She's lost a fair amount of time now, 16 seconds. Sanne Cant has cracked the American here in Valkenburg. We're going to be nearly 50 minutes, Simon, for this race.
Yeah, 4-lap race, incredible. Average speed, it's probably the slowest we've seen in the cyclocross for years. But you can just see, just epitomises how hard it is right now for Cant.
She looks around to see where Katie Compton is. The gap is significant, 13 seconds. But the big question now is Lucinda Brand closing in on Katie Compton. Is Lucinda Brand going to steal a silver medal here? Has she got enough time to come back to Katie Compton? Compton's just got to keep pushing on now to the finish. Thanks very much to all of you for watching. What a race this has been. Not decided until the last half lap. Sanne Cant now onto this final run-up. This is the one that really, really hurts the legs. It hurts everything. It's almost like a wall in front of you. Katie Compton hits the bottom of it. Lapping riders now. The toughest cyclocross race of the year. And it should be. It's the World Championship.
It is, yeah, but I think with cyclocross, you know, it's conditions that change it so much, and you can have the same course for 10 years and you can have different weather every year, and it just changes the race. And I think that's one of the attractions of the sport, that it's never the same. And
Sanne Cant superior on the run, and that's where she's made the massive difference. She shakes her head. Sanne Cant is going to double up. She's going to take the title to Belgium. That is going to ignite everything as far as the party is concerned here in Valkenburg. The Belgians are here en masse. Sanne Cant turns the corner. At one moment in this race, it looked like Katie Compton was the rider who was going to take the title, but it's going to go back to Belgium. Sanne Cant, superior. The cyclocross queen is going to cross the line now as the world champion for the second year running. Sanne Cant of Belgium takes the rainbow bands. What a victory. Katie Compton takes the silver medal, 11 seconds down. Katie Compton really took that race to Sanne Cant today. She made her suffer badly to win the rainbow bands again. And Lucinda Brand, a very well-deserved bronze medal by the Dutch rider. On the podium of the World Championships, Sanne Cant is absolutely exhausted in the same way as Evie Richards was, pretty much. She has taken herself to the absolute limit. Christine Majerus, 4th place for her, just outside the medals. A stunning performance by her in this World Championship to take 4th so long at the front of the race in the medals. 49 minutes, 34 seconds of flat-out bike racing. Coming around the corner then, Elisabeth Brandau is going to be 5th. Some surprises we're going to see in the top places. She's, as far as she's concerned in her world title, 5th place is won.
Yeah, that's good to see. It's we saw it with Maghalie Rochette last year, similar sort of thing, 5th or 6th place, and it's almost like that's your victory for the day. And it's
Caitlin Keough is going to be in 6th place. Behind her is Eva Lechner, and Elle Anderson of the United States of America is going to be in 8th place. It's great to see her in the top 10 in the World Championships. A big smile from her.
That is good for Elle Anderson. I think she's one of the ones that's embraced the coming over to Belgium and living the life and riding for a Belgian team, and she's had a hard couple of years at times, and I think that is real justification for her efforts to ingratiate herself in a sport that, yeah, it's a very hard place to come and live, Belgium, when you're an American cyclocross rider, but she's done it and she's proved successful, and that's good to see.
Yeah, great to see her in the top 10. But the rider who just wanted it the most was Sanne Cant. She really took the race on. At this moment, I thought that was it, and Katie Compton was going to go clear and win the race. But Sanne Cant never, ever gave in on the dream of taking the rainbow jersey for the 2nd year running. Nikki Brameau's just finished 11th, Caroline Marnie in 10th, Marlene Petit in 9th place.
Also for Helen Wyman, 13th place for her, for the British national champion Helen Wyman. En dan moet Alani Horst gaan finishen.
Sanne Cant pretty exhausted at the finish.
It's so hard to keep form from early September till early February.
Sanne, congratulations. That was a hard-fought victory. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's I'm really tired. I think it's the most difficult race I had in my career.
How did you manage to pass Katie in the fourth lap? I mean, that seemed very difficult.
Yeah, when we go into the last lap, I thought I would be 2nd. So she had a gap of 5-6 seconds, and it was really difficult to close the gap. But before the long descent, I went to the front, and I had a little gap afterwards, so I went all to the finish. But I think it's more than 6-7 seconds full gas. And the course is really hard. I think it's the hardest course I ever did.
At the end, it's 12 seconds difference, so that's very tiny, very small.
Yeah, one little mistake and there was nothing over, so we have to run a lot, and my legs will really explode. So I'm happy. Katie is 2nd. She also deserved the jersey. She rides from September until the end of the season. So this was also a course that fits her really well. So, but I'm happy I can keep my jersey.
Yeah, you said previously before the championship that you really were worth your jersey, that you deserve it, and you proved it that today.
Yeah, I think so. I won the 2nd World Cup of the season in September, and now we are at the end of the season, and I went against. I'm really happy with this one, and I hope I can keep him for a little more years.
Was this title more difficult than last year's one?
Maybe, yeah. The course is really different. It's a lot harder. But last year it was a battle with Marianne Vos, and now it's a battle with Katie Compton. So yeah, maybe this is better because everybody said this course is nothing for me. So yeah, I'm happy I can show everybody that I can also do this.
You're a great champion. Thank you very much, Sanne. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sanne Cant, the hardest race she's ever done in her career.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that whole, she can win in September, she can win at the World Championships, and I think that's the mark of having a great season. You know, it's so hard to do, to keep your form for that amount of time. Everybody gets sick, everybody gets injured, everybody has bad times, but to be able to do that and be consistent, and you said she'd won 15 races this year. You know, that proves that she hasn't had a period of the season where it's all gone badly wrong. So she's an amazing bike rider, and I think she did the Jersey proud this year. And I think you know, she's the kind of person that's, because she races so often, all the time, she's always at the front of the races. I think that's right now. That's great for the women's sport, because it just shows that. Yeah, the depth of the competition is immense right now, and it's just going to keep improving and keep growing. So yeah, she's a great champion.
Yep, she certainly is. She does carry that jersey all the way through the year. She makes no bones about saying that over and over again, that she believes that the world champion should be seen racing. Lucinda Brand, she had a real tussle with Christine Majerus, but eventually she takes the bronze medal. She proved that a road rider can ride this course as well as anyone. Great performance by Lucinda Brand. So we wait for the podium presentation. We've had some great racing. Here's the unofficial results of today's race. Sanne Cant wins in 49 minutes 34 seconds, 12 seconds ahead of Katie Compton of the United States of America, and Lucinda Brand of the Netherlands in the bronze medal position. Behind them, Majerus, Brandau, Caitlin Keogh crowns a great season in 6th place. Katarina Nash dropped away to 12th. Little bit bookended there by Bramier and Wyman in 11th and 13th. Marianne Vos down in 18th place. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, not to be her day, 24th place after showing so well in the last few weeks until that crash last weekend. Well, the Belgian fans, Simon, will party now all night, and we're in the Belgian hotel.
Well, you know, after the first 2 races, they didn't have anybody on the podium in the junior men and the under-23 women, so they needed something from the day. And yeah, they've got that with Sanne Cant, and I think they've got more to look forward to tomorrow with Elisabeth in the under-23 men and Wout van Aert in the elite men, again with a Belgian team behind both of them that are all just as capable, but they're the big names in those 2 races tomorrow. So yeah, a little bit of redemption for the Belgians, and they're here in force again. We're only a few kilometres from the Belgian border, so it's a big, I think tomorrow's going to be the day, the Dutch versus the Belgian crowd. Yeah, who can be the loudest?
Tomorrow afternoon is going to be pretty loud in here, I think.
I think the Brits will try to add to the volume tomorrow morning for the under-23 men. I think that's going to be the Pidcock-Iserbyt battle. I think in the afternoon, right now, it's the Netherlands-Belgium battle in the elite men.
Yeah, also tomorrow morning could be very loud, because you've got Joris Nieuwenhuis as well. So you've got all of them.
You do, yeah.
Getting urged on this race. Could be a good one. We'll wait and see what happens. In the meantime, the Belgians are getting ready to cheer Sanne Cant on the podium as she defends her title. The last few years, silver in 15, bronze in 16, world champion 17, world champion 18. That's a great record.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. Judging by her interview, she even believed Katie Compton was going to win on that 3rd lap. She just rode a great 3rd lap.
Compton did, and I think, you know, as always, it's going to be interesting to hear the stories after the race, and we don't get to hear them until they start putting social media out and the interviews get read. And but just to hear some of the backstories behind this race, because there's always so many, and you know, we're watching it as it's happening, and yeah, we don't know what happened to certain riders in certain places and how they feel. We're kind of, yeah, going off body language and how we're seeing riders at that moment. But it's always interesting for the next couple of days to catch up and to hear the comments as well. I'd love to hear the comments from Katie Compton right now, because, yeah, you know, Cant was obviously in a place where she thought it was going to go wrong and she was going to come second. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Compton has to say about that fourth lap.
Yeah,
and hopefully, I really hope that Compton had a trouble-free race, because she deserves that, and I think she would be disappointed if she had a problem, and that contributed to the result, because I think everybody wants to have the best race they can have, and the result is if you get beaten by somebody that's better, that's the way it turns out, you know. And I think Compton, if she's had a clean race and she's been beaten by a better woman on the day, she'll be disappointed, but I think that's more acceptable than
and if it's all gone wrong for you on the day.
Yeah, you know, I think the last lap in Hoogerheide last week at the World Cup finals, she had a problem, and it's just so frustrating all the time for her to be experiencing that, and yeah, hopefully that's not the case this week.
Well, we'll read all the interviews overnight. We'll find out what happened to everybody. Certainly, if you've never been to World Championship cyclocross, you should come, because it's an incredible day of racing each of the 2 days of the weekend. It's a party atmosphere. You might not remember it too much, but there we go. Let's not follow him. Let's move back to the crowd.
There you go.
Good.
No, it is. It's a great weekend. It's yeah, it's always been one of the big party weekends in bike racing, and you're so close to the action, and there's so much going on, and such a diversity in the crowd. It's a bucket list for anybody that's a bike racing fan, no matter what you enjoy.
Sanne Cant, her eyes, just behind those glasses, you can see she's so exhausted. Compton just held her for so long. Well, the jet washers are going to be pretty busy, I can imagine. Get these bikes cleaned. What a great season we've had, though, of women's racing in these World Cups, because they have been thrilling all the way through.
Oh, it's been the best racing for sure, you know, and it's because you can't predict what's going to happen, and you can't predict who's going to be top three, and there's such a group of women that can make the podium. So it's been really exciting racing, and it's been very enjoyable.
Everyone waiting then for the podium presentation. Just after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Just to catch up on some other places. Maghalie Rochette of Canada, 22nd. Beth Crumpton, Great Britain, 23rd. Courtney McFadden of the United States of America, 26th. Christelle Ferrier-Bruneau was 29th. Ellen Noble, 32nd. Talita de Jong, former world champion, 33rd today. Good to see her back racing, though. As we get ready for the podium presentation now. All smiles from Sanne Cant. She's got over a couple of years ago when she didn't win the title. She's now world title 2 years running. Katie Compton still got the legs to sprint up the stairs. Greeted by all her team.
Yeah, Christoph Rudhoff, the team manager of her professional team. congratulating her, and yeah, she's going to end up with the Belgian media. She'll go press conference next, and then Belgian television, then Belgian press conference, and then Belgian team press conference. It's going to be a long day before she can relax and probably enjoy it with her friends later this evening.
Well, in the studio of Belgian TV, waiting to speak to us, Sven Nys and Sophie de Boer.
So we've already got Ellen van Looy up there, talking to her about her race today.
Yeah, so it's going to be a late night. Lucinda Brand there, Dutch champion, winner of Grand Prix Plouay, winner of Formula Het Nieuwsblad, winner of the Tour of Norway. Now she'll turn her attention to the road season, and she wants to do well in Strade Bianche, which is on the gravel, the white Sterati roads in Italy. Very emotional, Sanne Cant. Lucinda Brand takes the bronze medal in the World Championship.
Representing the United States of America. Op de tweede plaats de zilveren medaille namens de United States of America. Geweldig applaus voor Katie Compton.
Katie Compton takes her 4th medal in World Championships, her 3rd silver medal.
Presented by Mrs. Tracy Gilfrey, member of the UCI Management Committee. Of de zilveren medaille uitgereikt door Mrs. Tracy Gilfrey van het managementcomité van de UCI. Geef ze een geweldig applaus, de zilveren medaillewinnares Katie Compton! And then, ladies and gentlemen, the new World Champion 2018, her 2nd time in a row, gold medal, world title, representing Belgium! En we gaan nu aankondigen de wereldkampioen 2018, winnares van de gouden medaille, komt uit België. België laat u horen voor Sanne Cant! Wereldtitel in Valkenburg!
What a great reception for Sanne Cant. She gets back her rainbow jersey. David Lepartien, the president of the UCI, presents the rainbow jersey and the gold medal. Well, she didn't want to give that jersey away.
Felicitaties voor de nummer 3 voor Lucinda Brand. We gaan naar de bloemen zo dadelijk ook voor de dame die de zilveren medaille voor zich opeiste. Voor Katie Compton, uitgereikt door Gert Koopmans namens de provincie Limburg, hier op de heilige Wielergrond. And then of course we have pieces and flowers also for our new world champion on the highest spot of the podium. De hoogste tweede van het wereldpodium uiteraard plaatsgenomen. De nieuwe wereldkampioen de Sanne Cant wordt uitgereikt door Gert Koopmans. De bloemen voor Sanne Cant. And then, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, may we have your attention please for the national anthem of Belgium. Dames en heren, mag ik heel graag uw aandacht vragen voor het nationale Belgische volkslied.
There's our podium, Lucinda Brand, bronze, Katie Compton, silver, Sanne Cant, the world champion again. Simon, final words, a great race.
That was a great race. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It lived up to expectations. New names, different people, but a great battle between two of the greatest women cyclocross riders we've had the pleasure of watching, I think. Heartbroken for Katie Compton that it didn't end up with rainbow jersey, and I hope she can come back and keep trying, because I think to finish a career without it would be a shame. But for Sanne Cant, we've got somebody that races the first week in September to the last week in February, does every single race, and is a worthy wearer of that rainbow jersey.
Yep, she won the second round of the World Cup in Waterloo. She won Bogenstay, she won Zeven, she won Zolder, she won Hoogerheide. She's won the World Championship. It's very, very well deserved indeed. She's a full-on cyclocross rider. She wanted it a lot. But I think you're right, Simon. Two of the best cyclocross riders we've ever seen in women's racing, who have made the racing so exciting today and throughout the season. The cameraman got a full-on bath.
She won't need to wash her hair later anyway. That's
yeah,
good.
Exactly. Lucinda Brand gives her a full-on spray of the champagne.
Now she's got to sit in a press conference like that.
There we go. That ends it all. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a great day of racing. Thanks to all of you who've messaged Simon and I. If you want to ask questions for tomorrow, at UCI_CX is where you can get hold of us. And I think you know Simon and I's Twitters anyway. Sanna's going to dry her hands and sign the jersey. But we've had some fantastic racing today. 3 thrilling titles decided. That's the end of the cyclocross season. And Sanne Cant will go into the summer with the rainbow jersey intact. A great crowd. Thanks to all of you for watching. From Simon Burney and myself, Anthony McCrossan, I appreciate you all joining us today. And we're going to be back with more action tomorrow morning. Goodbye for now.